The benefits of a 36 and 12 fast. Why would we even want to do it? Let's cap over this. So fat burning and weight loss is some of the things you get. Balances your blood sugar and your insulin resistance, improves mental and physical performance. It supports longevity and cellular repair. It preserves muscle growth and hormone proliferation. It helps lower cholesterol and improves heart health. And guess what? It's easier and more sustainable with the protocol that I talk about. So, but again, why? Normally I talk about a 16-8 fast. Are you guys familiar with these terms? So 16-8 fast means you don't eat for 16 hours and you eat two larger meals in an 8-hour window. Now all of a sudden, oh my gosh, she's talking about this 36 and 12 fast. So for people who want to double down on your fat burning, because one of the big clues of insulin resistance prediabetes is weight gain, not just all around the body, because some people can be very thin, but if you have a belly that looks like that, then that's insulin resistance, and we want to figure out how to get that fat off quicker than you can imagine. One of the easiest ways, the most sustainable ways to do it is a 36 and 12 fast, and we're going to go over all of that here in just a minute. So if you're already fasting and you're like, but I've been doing this fasting thing and I get it. And I get that, everybody says they're losing fat on fasting. Why isn't your fasting working? Because you might not be fasting long enough. So here's the thing. I want you to think of your body like a wood burning fireplace. If anybody, you guys know what those are, when you eat, your body burns quick, easy fuel like paper and kindling. So when you're building that fire, that's sugar, that's that quick, easy fuel. But what keeps the fire going is the bigger logs, right? So then we want to think about that as more fats and less sugar. So the sugar in our food is like paper and kindling, but once that burns up, your body needs that different fuel source, and that's when it's going to use the big logs or your stored fat. So now, instead of just burning the fuel that you're eating, you're able to burn the fuel from what you've stored. So let's bump it back a few more steps. Why does that happen? With insulin resistance, when the rest of the body becomes less responsive to insulin and insulin can't get it in the cells anywhere else, it's going to store it in your storage facility. So now it's putting away these packages, these bundles of fuel for you to be able to use later. And unless we do some kind of fasting and stopping the eating all the time, we really never get to access that storage because we're providing fuel every day. Is that making sense for everybody? So the 36 and 12 fast is block. You guys, I used to hate blocking people, but I really take joy in blocking toxic people now. All right, so look, if you're trying to fast and you feel like you can't get through it and you're just using up that energy that you're eating all the time and you feel like you can never fast long enough to get to the stored energy, there's an easier way to get there. So what I do every day when I do my 16-hour fast every day is I drink this tea every morning and I drink it again every afternoon. This is my second tea. There's actually a second and third in here. It helps keep my energy up, but it helps me burning ketones or fat for fuel, and it helps keep me feeling full. So now those fasting times are easier. And during a fast, you can have water, tea, and coffee, and this tea fits right in, but it really spikes up that me being satiated, not having hunger, of helping the sugar to get utilized properly, helping keep insulin levels down. And so now the benefits of fasting that we're going to talk about start to become more amplified when you use the tea. So if you want to make fasting easier, this tea increases ketone production, boosts your energy. It helps you feel full, focused, and full of energy instead of being sluggish. And so that tea is doing a lot. But the pre-meal drink that I drank also can be taken before your first meal, before your last meal. And sometimes I take it during my fasting window because it's also bumping up satiety. When your gut microbiome feeds on the pre-meal drink that we have, then it's kicking out short chain fatty acids, which induce more ketone production or fat burning. So both of the products in the protocol can be used during the fasting window, and it just makes it easier. So Abang, it's in my profile link. It's part of a protocol. It's a two-step protocol. We're going to talk about that. So it's a tea that I have in the morning, a tea that I have in an afternoon, and a pre-meal drink that I personally have before everything I eat, but you only need to do it before the meal with the most carbohydrates in it. It's a three-part system scientifically designed to work on insulin resistance, helping you get into this fat burning mode. When you get insulin sensitive, then you start to be able to have an easier time burning fat for fuel and not just the sugar that you're eating every day. So find it in my link in my profile or DM me so that I'll see it after this live, and I'll get you information that way. So, whoop, I'm checking notes on another app and it's making me crazy over here. All right, so that's the truth. Your body's burning too much of the simple fuel, not enough of the big logs, the heavier fuel. And why? It's because we never allow it to. So what we do is the 36-12 fast is happening this way. So this fast, this fasting hack melts belly fat and it's backed by science. So I want you to now imagine that your body's like a refrigerator and a freezer, and your body first uses the food in the fridge. All that really accessible carbohydrates, all of that food that you're eating every day, it's going to use that first. That's the quick, easy energy from carbs and sugar. But when your fridge is empty, your body has to go to the freezer, and this is where it starts burning stored fat for fuel. Now, a 2019 study found that people who did a 36-hour fast with a 12-hour eating window, and I'm going to explain how this all breaks down, for 30 days stayed in fat burning mode for ketosis nonstop, even during their eating windows. So if getting fat off your body quickly is really paramount to you, switching from a 16-8 fast to a 36-12 fast for a month might be the thing you want to try. Now, I'm going to encourage you to work with your physician. I'm going to encourage you not to step right into a 36-12 fast for a month until you know if your body can sustain it. But maybe you do it once a week. Maybe you do it 4 times a month and then go, that wasn't so bad. I could do 36 and 12 every other day for a month. I've done it, you guys, and it gets easier and easier every day that goes by. I start to feel much clearer, much lighter. I can feel the difference in my body. In fact, I'm going to start doing a 36 and 12-hour fast again starting tomorrow. And anybody who wants to join me, and let's talk about how you feel. Now, if tomorrow's too soon, just join me later in the week. I'm going to give you guys lots of information on this 36-12 fast and why it's benefiting you. So if you're struggling with weight loss, this fasting cycle, this 36 and 12 could be the breakthrough you need. So if you've ever tried a long fast, a longer fast than 36, just type long in the comments for me, and welcome in everybody. If you want to try this 36 fast with me, 36 and 12, after you've learned a little bit more about it, put a 36 in the chat because I would love to do this alongside you guys. I'm going to do it anyway. But if you want to make it faster and easier using the protocol, just say yes, and I'll get the link to the protocol to you if you can't find it in my profile. The protocol is designed to help with insulin resistance, and insulin resistance is absolutely why you're storing fat and unable to get rid of it. Okay, so you want to know why some people burn fat faster than others. Think of your body like a car with 2 fuel tanks, one big tank, one small tank. And the small tank is when you're in sugar burning mode. That fuel burns fast, but it runs out really quickly. And the big tank, your fat burning mode, is your body's backup energy, but you can't access it when you keep filling the small tank, right? You keep going, oh, almost out of gas, I'm going to go fill that tank. You never get to the backup tanks because you're always fueling by filling up the small tank, or you need to eat constantly and eat foods that are high in carbohydrates. So the longer you can stay in burning from the big tank, the more fat you burn. So which metabolism type do you think you are? Do you think you're a sugar burner or a fat burner? Put it in the comments. Put sugar or fat. Are you burning sugar for fuel every day, or are you burning fat for fuel every day? I just want to give you a clue. Most of us are stuck in sugar burning. Hello, Dr. Naka. And David, you're 350 pounds. I have a guy who was 463 pounds, David. I'm going to tell you guys a little story about him just now. He was over 460 pounds. He had lost well over 200 pounds, got down to 200 pounds using this system, and then got a little bit lax. And he gave me permission to talk about this. So he got a little bit lax, wasn't doing the system, wasn't doing all the things I talk about, wasn't doing all of that. And he started to put weight back on, and then he ended up back in the hospital. They were trying to give him insulin. He almost lost a toe. You guys, addressing insulin resistance and that excess weight is important. If you have excess weight, something else is going on in your body. And yeah, sugar is the biggest clue, right? We got to stay away from processed sugars as much as we can, but a number of us have already damaged our body so much that we need a little bit extra. You need to put like some gas cleaner in your tank so that the fuel cleans up and you work better, right? So we need to do some fasting longer term for many of us to really start to get into that mode, especially if you've had other things going on and excess toxins and whatnot in your body. Your body needs rest from all that stuff. Okay. So this 36 and 12 fast is like this. When you eat sugar and carbs all the time, your body never switches tanks from that small tank to the big tank. And it takes 8 to 13 hours of fasting before your body switches from that small tank or sugar burning to the big tank or fat burning. So 8 to 13 hours before you ever get into fat burning mode. And then you break it by eating, and now you're not accessing any of that fat burning that you could have identified and had go on in your body much easier. So let's talk about the timeline for fasting. It's going to change a little bit with different scientists. I'm going by the science that our scientists have given us. So what they're telling us, and what I've seen time and again, is your sugar, after you eat, your sugar will spike about 2 hours after you eat is when you're going to get your biggest sugar spike. About 4 hours later is when that energy spike in your body, called glucose spike or sugar spike, goes down. So you eat, you wait 4 hours. Now your blood sugar is actually down to a normal level again after eating. For most of us, we're being told to eat every 2 hours, right? To eat smaller meals. So all that you're doing when you're doing that is you're spiking your sugar up again. And remember, it takes 2 hours for that sugar to show up, 4 hours for it to come down, but now you're constantly spiking it. So your insulin says it wants to be high all the time. So 2 hours after you eat, your blood sugar goes up. 4 hours later, before your blood sugar goes down, now it takes about another 4 hours after that. So a total of 8 hours before insulin, the fat storing hormone, can come down. About 2 hours after that, the fat burning hormone, glucagon, comes out. Once glucagon comes out, because insulin went to bed, it's gone now. This is about 10 hours after you had your last bite of food before this ever starts happening. Now, glucagon helps cue out growth hormone and ketones. That's at about hour 12, right? Those hormones start working in your body, and at about hour 14, some say 13, some say 14, some say a little later, but from hours 14 to 16, now you have ketones going out, you have growth hormone going out, and you're starting to burn fat. So if that's enough, then why am I talking about a 36 and 12 fast? What happens now is, as you move along, the further you get past that 16 hours, the more fat you're starting to burn. Your body's starting to clear out and say, okay, we need to get rid of junk cells. We need to start getting rid of some of these other things that are going on in the body. And that starts to peak at around 24 hours. So you get the maximum benefit from this fat burning at around 24 hours. So if you do OMAD, you shut it down, right, at 24 hours. But the other thing is, it's really difficult to get in the nutrients you need in a day in one meal on a 24-hour OMAD fast. But if you just push it to 36 hours and then you have 12 hours to eat, it starts to look a lot different. So during those first 36 hours, now we've hit peak fat burning at hour 24. And that at hour 36 is when that starts to wane a little bit. So that's where we want to keep the window, 36 hours. So it looks like this. I had dinner at 6 o'clock last night. If I was going to start my fast today, 6 in the morning would be 12 hours, 6 at night would be 24 hours, and 6 tomorrow morning would be my 36. So it's just one day without eating. And then in the morning, I would start eating. So we're going to start this tomorrow. I will be fasting tomorrow. I won't eat again until Wednesday. Now, with the 36 and 12 fast, you've gone past this 36-hour stage where your body's really starting to clean up and you're really starting to burn fat for fuel much better than at a 16-hour fast, and really amplifying it up more than what a 24-hour fast will do. But what for me is the big key with this is that now the way I did it is I sat down and said, okay, in a week, if I eat about 2,000 calories a day as an active adult, and I want to get in 100 to 150 grams of protein in a day, and that's the only things I really look at, right? So now if I say in a 7-day week, that's about 14,000 calories, and it's at least 700 grams of protein. So what I do now is I take the days that I'm eating and I divide that up. So say it's 4 days worth of eating during the week. Well, now I do my total calorie count on that. I do my total, but more importantly, I do my total protein count. So now I'm really trying to pack in protein in that 12-hour eating window and fats to go along with it. And why? The protein and fats are going to help fuel my metabolism. And if I start my morning out after a 36-12 fast with protein, like eggs, maybe some avocado, some ground up meat that's not got a bunch of nitrates in it. If I start with a really good protein and fat that morning, then I'm still in fat burning mode. The rest of the day, I eat whatever I want. Now, in the studies that they did on this, the people who ate were not following some magical formula like I'm talking about when they started eating. They just ate whatever they wanted, pizza, hamburgers, whatever, and they were doing well. And as it progressed, they stayed in ketosis even when they were having those foods because the body was switching from being sugar burning to fat burning. And Dr. Naka, now I got your sugar. You were saying you're a sugar burner. Okay, so sorry, you guys. The Feel Great system, the system that I talk about, the protocol, it's in my profile. When I do a 36 and 12 fast, this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to be fasting tomorrow, which means I'm still going to wake up in the morning and I'm going to make up at least 2 of these teas. I'll be drinking more water tomorrow. So I'll be getting in almost a gallon of water, but I'll also be drinking in this tea 2 to 3 times a day. It's going to help keep me full while I'm fasting, so I won't be needing to think about food as much. It's going to help increase GLP-1 production, which is helping with the satiety and fat burning and sugar sensitivity. So my body's really starting to switch over. It also helps the production of those growth hormones and ketones in the natural substance of it, but it's giving me vitamins and minerals in an amount that my body needs to thrive and heal without giving me any of the bad things that are going to break my fast for fat burning and insulin resistance purposes. So I still get to have the tea. I have it in apple cinnamon. I have it in lemon. I have it in lemon ginger. I just get to choose what tea I want to drink and I do it. Now, if I want to tomorrow, if my stomach is, and I don't see my packets, if my stomach is not doing well, because sometimes it's not, I'm an anxious person, I will just have one of the pre-meal drink. And I'm trying to find there it is. Let's get this. So the pre-meal drink, I stumbled on this. In a fasting window, I can still have this. And why? It's not spiking my insulin. What it does, though, is it gives my gut microbiome, in my way of thinking, this is what I like to think about with this. It's giving my gut microbiome food so that my gut microbiome is still chomping down and going. Well, now when that good gut microbiome is eating the fuel of this pre-meal drink, it's creating more short chain fatty acids. Short chain fatty acids cue the body to create more ketones. When you create more ketones, you're burning fat faster. So is this great for before a meal to reduce a blood sugar spike? Absolutely it is. But I sometimes use it during a fasting window if my stomach is upset or if I'm just feeling really like I need something in my stomach so I don't have extreme hunger going on, because this also expands in my stomach and creates a gel substance that allows me to feel fuller. while cueing more ketones, while keeping sugar under control, while keeping the acids in my gut down so that I can make it through that 36-12 fast. So I don't know how many of you have tried fasting for longer periods, but has anyone else noticed that they get some acid indigestion or whatever when they're not eating? That's still is a gut microbiome that's out of order and causing you to feel that nausea and intense acid reflux most often. So I do that. I still have my teas on the days that I'm fasting. Sometimes I'll have the pre-meal drink. The day that I eat on a 36 and 12 fast looks like this. I will allow myself to eat from the moment I wake up instead of waiting. I will have something like eggs and maybe bacon or sausage, something like that in the morning, or eggs and chicken, eggs, chicken on chicken, right? But I have a high protein breakfast. Again, because I'm trying to eat enough protein for the day, I'm going to make sure that I'm getting in about 50 grams of protein in every meal I eat on that next day. So I will make sure that I'm pairing that with healthy fats. Fats, again, are not going to spike your insulin. They're going to keep your insulin low. They're going to cue your body more to lean into this long-term fuel source of your fat. Fats help you burn fats, not the other way around. Fats are not storing fat unless you're eating high fats with high sugars, then you're going to store fat. But if you're eating fats when you're in this fasting type mode, what you're really doing is telling your body that's your preferred fuel source, and you're going to lean into burning more fat for fuel than you will sugar for fuel. But again, the study showed in 2009, 2019, that even when people ate those other foods, they still were losing weight. They still were staying in higher in ketosis than somebody who wasn't doing this format. They still were seeing better health benefits than somebody who wasn't doing this format. So this is where I lean into, it's not always about the calories. It's not always about calories in, calories out. It's about messing with your hormones. It's about allowing your hormones to do what they're supposed to do. If you're just counting calories, you're not looking at the biggest piece of why you need to lose weight. So there's all of that, you guys. So 36-12 fast, I can give you a lot more ideas on what I do if you're interested in them. But I'm going to start it. I know one of my other followers wants to start it too. Why a 36 12-hour fast over something like a 48-hour fast or a 5-day fast, and what's the difference? Admittedly, a 36-12 fast is more about fast or rapid weight loss. When you extend from 36 hours on up to 72 hours, you are increasing autophagy. You are getting better benefit of cleaning out toxins and dead cells between hours 36 and 72. The problem is most people can't do that 5-day fast. Not yet. And if you want to do it once in a while, that's amazing for your body. It's a really great way to clean your body out. But when we stop at 36, it's because the fat burning that we see from it caps out at about hour 36. So then we allow ourselves to refeed, get nutrients in, get protein in, get vitamins and minerals in. And then after 12 hours of being able to eat, not snacking all day, but just eating good 3-round good meals, you go back into a fast. And every time you go back into the 36-12 fast or the 36 every other day fast, the easier it gets. The more you're like, wow, I feel really good after I do these. Wow, my body changed. I don't crave the same foods. I don't want to eat in the same way. My mental clarity is better. My heart doesn't seem to be racing as often. My skin is looking better. I sleep better. Oh, you guys, there's so many benefits for 36-12 fast besides just the weight loss, but fat comes off quick with a 36 and 12 fast. Again, I back it up with the protocol because it's really what helps drive me into that fast and keep me going through it, burning fat better at even in menopause than just on a 16-8 fast. Plus, with an ADHD and autism, I feel like I have more control when I do a 36-12 fast because it's either I'm eating or I'm not. And the days I'm eating, I don't have to worry so much about, am I going to have a brownie? Am I going to have a bag of chips? Which I don't have those things often. On the trip this weekend I did. Whew, way too much. But I don't have to worry about those things. If I want to eat them in moderation, I can on my 12-hour eating window. Every other day, I get to eat 3 big meals and I get to eat what I want and know that my body still is going to be queuing into a 36 or this fat burning mode because the next day I'm going to fast again and my body's going to go, oh yeah, this is what we're doing. We're burning that fat for fuel. And guess what? Fat is just stored sugar in your body. You ate way too much sugar, you ate way too many carbohydrates, and it's stored up as fat on your body. So now we're just helping it release in a way that's really simple and easy. So a 36-12 fast is just, for me, it's amazing. If you guys are interested in it, let me know. I'd love to help you guys out with it. But look, here's exactly what happens in your body every hour you fast. So I want you to think of fasting like using up your phone battery. The first, you burn through your quick charge, your sugar energy. Then once that's gone, you switch over to power saving mode or fat burning. So your phone kind of switches. When you get low on energy, it switches into this power saving mode, right? That's because you've run out of that quick energy. And that quick energy is a full charge that we have in our body. But here's the breakdown I just said. So about 0 to 8 hours, you're running on your last meal. At about 8 hours, insulin, the hormone that's holding on to fat, can finally go away. 8 to 13 hours, your body's switching. Glucagon is coming out, ketones are coming out, growth hormone is coming out, and your body's switching over slowly into fat burning mode. At around hour 14 to 16, you start that burning of fat. At hour 16 to 24, your body's really ramping up that fat burning, and you're starting to really be able to use fat for fuel instead of just sugar for fuel. So at 24 to 36 hours, that deep, deep fat burning, it's now like you've built this fire, you've started out the fire with your paper and your kindling and you got it burning, and then you slowly are adding logs, fat burning onto that fire. But now at hour 36, you've been feeding that fire with these logs instead of paper. So remember, logs are the fat burning or the fat, and the kindling is the paper or the sugar that we eat. So we started the fat burning, we started the fire with sugar, but we switch over into a bigger source of fuel called fat, and that burns heavy and steady. And at between hours 24 and 36, you're really getting the hottest, biggest fat burning that you can get out of this during those hours, just extending that to the 36 hours. So it's as simple as just not eating for one full day. In the morning of the following day, you can have whatever you want to eat, and you start burning more fat for fuel. So that's why 36 hours is the sweet spot for weight loss and metabolic reset. Now, you want more cellular repair, you go past and you go up into a 5-day fast. But we're just talking about fat burning, and this is simple enough that most people can do this starting out, especially with the support of the protocol that allows you to feel fuller for longer and doesn't break your fast. So if you want to speed up your 36-12 fast, great. I want you to do one, but understand that making it easier by drinking the Unimate tea and drinking the fiber to help keep you full and help keep all of that goodness going is a really a better way. I'm searching for the right word, a better way to help you sustain this type of fast much longer. Okay, so does anybody have any questions about it? You guys, I apologize. I am just honestly still really tired from I took a trip this weekend. We'll talk about that real quick. I took a trip this weekend to go visit my mother and take my grandson that she doesn't get to really see a lot. And we went down to Georgia, down in the hurricane zone, and spent some time with my mother, my stepfather, and my sister, and got to go do some amazing things. But it was a long weekend, and I'm a little exhausted today. But even in that, like 8 hours drive down and 8 hours drive back, how I make it through that is I just bring my tea along with me, and it made it super simple. We were in a little German town, and I had a not bratwurst, a wurst platter. So they gave us different kind of German sausages and different kind of German sauerkraut and whatnot. Again, I just had my pre-meal drink before I ate that. When we were stopping off at these tours, because we got to go through all these little towns and see their shops. And so my mother is a big carbohydrate eater. And so every pastry shop, every sugar shop there was, we had to go try stuff, rum cake and all these things. I just had this along with me. Drink it before those things, and that helps me manage all of those times without having to feel like I can't go enjoy all the things with my family. I just bring the system, and again, it just pours into a glass of water. Super simple to use and keep with me even during those times. and keep my energy up to deal with all of these people in my life and stay up and play games and go swimming and do all that. I just drink the tea and the protocol. That's it. You guys, if you're struggling with fat burning, if you're struggling with your health, reach out to me. I'm gonna go over some more things tomorrow. But before I go, I do want to talk about this because it started last week. I want to drop this in. If you have type 2 diabetes and you're struggling with weight and your doctor's trying to give you insulin as a therapy, I'm going to ask you to really, really question why they're giving you insulin when you're already insulin resistant. One yeah, one man that I was working with is had 3 shots of insulin a day as a type 2 diabetic. His heart was failing, his kidneys were failing, he had, edema and neuropathy, and it was pretty devastating. And here's the thing, if insulin is already too present in the body, causing all of these things to shut down, their premise is that if they give you more insulin, there's more of this hormone to deal with the influx of sugar that you are taking in. They do often recommend some dietary changes, but they're really not addressing the root cause. And Dr. Ben Bickman, who wrote the book behind me, Why We Get Sick, says that by giving a type 2 diabetic insulin, doctors are making them fatter quicker because insulin is a fat storing hormone, so it's converse to tell someone who has type 2 diabetes to lose weight and then give them insulin. But so it's making them fatter quicker, it's making them sicker quicker because that insulin is causing all of these problems, and it's killing them quicker because it's shortening their life in such a way that it's just really not a therapy that's helping you. It's actually making you worse. So I want you to understand that. Why I say that again is that man was on 3 shots of insulin and his health was failing. And all they were doing was giving him more and more medication. Now, personally, I've other also been working with another man, and again, I have his permission to share the story. He was at 463 pounds. He lost over 260 pounds, was at a body weight of 200, and then he fell off. You get complacent. We all do this as human beings. We get complacent and we're like, oh, well, we kind of forget about the pain of where we were. We kind of forget about all the things that made us start this in the first place, and we screw up, right? So he screwed up. After over 3 years on the protocol, losing all that weight, doing fantastic, he fell off. Depression took hold, anxiety took hold, other problems happened for him, and he started gaining weight back. Then he ended up in the hospital with some neuropathy and a sore on his foot, which he was afraid he was going to lose his lower leg to. As it was, they were able to fix his toe, but he's now back on the system, and he recognizes, had I not stopped doing all the right things, following the system that I've had him on for 3 years, he would never have ended up there. But guess what? One of the first things they tried to give him was insulin. And because he's listened, because he's very bright and he went out and did all the research himself, he refused to take their insulin shots in the hospital. Yes, you can refuse them. They don't have to give you them. Don't let them bully you. But he knew, and he educated his nurses on what was happening when they gave him insulin. He gave them enough information that they then turned around and said, "Oh, okay, I want to try the system you're talking about. What you're saying actually makes sense. I checked it out." They could look it up in the PDR. The system is amazing, and it is actually healing you instead of just masking symptoms and making you feel like you do now or feel worse. So you guys, I'm here every day talking about it because I want you to feel better. I'll come back. We'll talk tomorrow. If you have questions about this 36, 12-hour type of fast, let me know. I would love to support you through this and getting you more insulin sensitive, getting your weight loss amped up, and doing it in a way that your body will love you for. So reach out to me and let's get you started. I will give you more information on this later, but I'm going to go take a break now. And thanks for hanging out with me, you guys. Have a great day.